So, Rajasthan, I think, is not a breaking news for filmmakers because I think from the very beginning of Indian cinema, we've shot there. It's a region that lends itself beautifully to the big screen canvas with its deserts, its palaces, its monuments, and in general, color all around. And we are very, very encouraged by the fact that the Rajasthan government has come out with a new policy, and we look forward to listening more to the details of it. But before I request Mr. Tripathi to tell us more, I just want to share with this audience that typically state governments and even governments abroad very often make policies in isolation and then say, okay, this is the policy now, let's work on it. But I must commend the Rajasthan administration that from the very beginning they have taken us into confidence, taken our feedback at every step of the way. So thank you very much, sir, for being so responsive and proactive. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Tripathi to just take us through the highlights of the policy, please.
Thank you. Should I use the podium for the presentation? Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Nitinji, for a wonderful introduction to the policy as well as to the background of this policy. And my esteemed colleagues on the dais, Ranveer, Brar, Vikramjit ji, and Pravesh, Sahni ji. Yes. We all know, and as Mr. Nitin also introduced, that Rajasthan is not new for film shooting activities. Film shooting, television commercials, OTTs. So everything is shot there on a regular basis. But despite all this, the government thought that it should be systematized through introduction of a policy. So we have come up with this policy. And shortly, in a very short time, I will tell you about the details of this policy through a PowerPoint presentation. Can we have the presentation, please? So, come shoot in Rajasthan. This is the theme of this session. So, I think most of us have visited Rajasthan at least once in our lifetime, and most people are familiar with the wonderful sites, wonderful cities and destinations that are there for the offerings to the filmmakers across various film industries within India as well as outside. So we have certain advantages vis-a-vis film shooting activities. Logistically as well as the cultural aspect of the state. Few of these you can see, we have a very rich and interesting history. I mean, most of us have heard about stories of Maharana Pratap or Panna Dhai or other heroes of our very brave history that we had to offer. And of course, Rajasthan is a sunny destination. Most part of the year we have very bright sunlight, which of course is required in film shootings. We have all the major global brands of hotels. We have the tour operators of repute. We have line producers in Rajasthan who would support and help if someone from Bollywood or, someone from Mumbai film industry who wants to make a movie over there or a commercial or some OTT production. And we are having some amazing locations. We all have, we know about Pink City, Jaipur, Golden City, Jaisalmer, Sun City, Jodhpur. But beside these popular destinations and cities, we have, in fact, we are the largest state of the country and geographically. And so we have about 33 districts. And each of the districts you will find certain places which you might not have heard about, but they are so beautiful, captivating, and we would like to cover a few of these through our slides. Another major advantage is that we are close to NCR, National Capital, and we are well connected also through rail, through road, and through air. Single window clearance, we have set up a mechanism for allowing film shooting, giving permissions to film shooting through a single window system, for which tourism department is the nodal department, and you need not go anywhere. There is no fee. You don't have to pay any fee, and of course you will have to pay for the other monuments, but for this processing of this clearance, you don't have to pay any fee. May I request to run the AV, please? So I'll let you go through a beautiful AV on the heritage sites of the state.
लेकिन अरावली की इन वादियों में इसने जो कुछ लिखा, युगों युगों से प्रहरी बना स्वयं उसकी रक्षा करता रहा है। मेवाड़ की धरती पर राजपुताना शौर्य का ये प्रतीक आज भी महाराणा प्रताप के साहस और पराक्रम की गवाही दे रहा है। अजय, अखंड, अपराजित, 36 किलोमीटर का दायरा अपनी बाहों में समेटे ये दुर्ग एक राजा के फौलादी हौसलों की जीती जागती मिसाल है। एक अजूबा ऐसा भी जो किसी बुनियाद के बिना ही 800 साल से चट्टानों पर खड़ा आसमान को ललकार रहा है। रणथंभौर के घने जंगलों के बीच 1000 साल का इतिहास ओढ़े ये किला राजपुताना दिलेरी की मिसाल है। शायद इसीलिए आज यहां शेरों का बसेरा है। शेरों की इस भूमि में परिंदों को भी पनाह दी है। हजारों मील से आए ये बेजुबान जब वापस लौटते हैं तो दुनिया से कहते हैं, राजस्थान मरुभूमि नहीं, मर्यादा भूमि है। गवाह हैं ये फसीलें वीरांगनाओं के जौहर की, यही सजी हैं प्रेम रस में डूबी वो शामें जिनकी खुशबू आज भी दरीचों से झांकती है। यही बसा है वो शहर जो सदियों समय से आगे था, और क्यों ना होता। इसे बसाने वाले का याराना था वक्त के साथ। सदियां कब की सो चुकी, मगर कुछ लम्हे अब भी जाग रहे हैं और सुना रहे हैं कभी न खत्म होने वाली दास्तानें, दास्तानें जो हमारा अतीत है और अस्तित्व भी।
Thank you. So basically, this film was about the heritage, UNESCO heritage sites, which are 8 in numbers, plus 1 which is Kevladev Bird Sanctuary. So this film was basically based on these 9 destinations. But the idea behind this film is that we have a very big setup and backdrop for making the films. The backdrop is really very majestic, very big in its grandeur and charm. So basically idea is कि हम आपका फिल्म मेकर्स का पैसा बचाने के हिसाब से ऑलरेडी इतनी सारी चीज़ें यहाँ पे हैं कि यू कैन यूज़ दोज। आपको वो आजकल जो टेक्नोलॉजी होती है कि पीछे वो ग्रीन स्क्रीन लगा के कहीं पे क्रिएट कर लेते हैं। सो यू नीड नॉट क्रिएट आर्टिफिशियल VFX. You can come to Rajasthan and use this majestic backdrop and make wonderful movies. So like I told, we are very rich in culture and legacy, and these are some of the posters of the popular films that have been made. These are from Hollywood. You can see Dark Knight Rises. Many youngsters are here, so they can relate most easily to the one in the middle. Then these are some films from Mumbai film industry, and of course we get a lot of filmmakers from South as well, from Eastern part also. These are, many of them are blockbusters, of course. And now some of the glimpses of the popular places that we are talking about. This is Amir Palace in Jaipur. This is also a fort. It's a palace as well as a fort. This is Lake Palace, Udaipur. Kumbhalgarh Fort. Chittor. Junagadh in Bikaner. This vast stretches of sand dunes, that is Thar Desert as we know it. This is Jaisalmer city. Again, Gadisar Lake. Many people, most of us have this perception that Rajasthan is a very dry state. It is partly true. We have most number of beautiful water bodies in the state, and I'll show you an AV especially made to dispel this perception of yours. This is Lake Pichola, again a water body, beautiful. This is Jaipur, Rambagh Palace. This is Neemrana, close to Delhi. Jagmandir, Udaipur. This is Suryagarh, Jaisalmer. Many of these medieval background TV serials, they are made over here in Jaisalmer and in these hotels. This is the Albert Hall in Jaipur. Now we come to certain part, certain areas of Rajasthan are very little is known about those places. Places like Pratapgarh, places like Jhalawad, places like Dungarpur. But they have some wonderful sites which are unexplored. And I would request people, the audience, the filmmakers, the members from the fraternity to come and visit these places. And they would love to sort of see these places and recommend it to the filmmakers to make their movies over here, because nobody has captured the beauty of these lesser known places. This is 100 Island. Again, another view of the same place. Part of it looks like some European village, in fact. This is again Chambal River at near Kota. We call it Gavadia Mahadevji. There is a temple over there. This is a glimpse shot from the Palace on Wheels train, luxury train. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we are not operating it at present, but very soon we are going to start operations. Many films have been shot in this Palace on Wheels. And as I told you, the rich culture of the state, it's so captivating. You can recall the films like Karan Arjun, where they have, it was a film made by Rakesh Roshan ji, I think. And the beauty of the whole film was shot near Alwar. And they didn't have to do anything to create the rural life. It was so vibrant over there, they just had to, roll out and make the film. Some of the sights from the villages, they are so stunning, so captivating. These are some of the decorative items, handicrafts, so rich in handicrafts also. We have a number of festivals and fairs. We organize, Department of Tourism also organize certain festivals. Most of you must have heard about Elephant Festival, Desert Festival in Jaisalmer, Pushkar Fair in Ajmer district at Pushkar. So many of you who might want to capture these fairs or festivals, then Department of Tourism might work together and create facilities to cover these festivals. So keeping all these things, the strength of Rajasthan as a filmmaking destination, the government has come up with this new Rajasthan Film Tourism Promotion Policy 2022. And before I go into the details of this policy, I would like to run the AV for you to get an idea about the strength of the Rajasthan state as a film destination. AV, please.
Cinema, the most versatile and impactful medium of storytelling. A medium that entertains, educates, and exhilarates. With a power to not just reflect on the past and the present, but also shape the future through magical and evocative moving images. And to all those dream-weaving filmmakers, we say, welcome to Rajasthan, a state legendary for its heritage and hospitality, attracting filmmakers from not just India, but all over the world. From Oscar entry films like Paheli to Hindi blockbusters like Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Devanand's classic Guide to Barjatya's Hum Saath Saath Hain, highly acclaimed Eklavya to PK, Jodha Akbar to Bajirao Mastani, the list is endless. And Rajasthan was the canvas where all these films came alive. The James Bond film Octopussy, Jackie Chan's Kung Fu Yoga, The Dark Knight Rises, The Darjeeling Limited, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, The Fall, all enriched by the imprint of Rajasthan through its abundance of colors and remarkably diverse landscape. And now, with Rajasthan government's film tourism promotion policy of 2022, that includes financial benefits, subsidies and grants to filmmakers shooting in the state, a renewed focus on its world-class hospitality, and the upcoming Film City, Rajasthan is dedicated to being at the zenith of world-class filmmaking in India. So why go around the world when you can bring your world to life right here in Rajasthan?
Thank you. Some of the key highlights of the policy. I mean, the incentive is available for feature films, TV serials, reality shows, web series, and documentaries. Subsidy can go up to rupees 2 crores or 15% of total qualified cost of the production. No other fee or charges at the state government monuments or sites. Some discount, up to 50% of discount at government-owned hotels. And some viability gap funding provision for someone who is wishing for a film city establishment. Some scholarships provisions have been kept for the bright students and scholars who want to pursue some study or doing some course at FTIA Pune or Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute of Calcutta. These are some modalities. It's online registration. One can apply, and the film should have U or UA certification by CBFC. 30 days of shooting in the state is mandatory. 15% crew should be hired from Rajasthan. And overall expenditure on the production should be more than 2 crores. And the final claim for subsidy can be applied within 1 year from the date of release of the production. As I told you earlier, we have a single window clearance system for film shootings in Rajasthan. And one can easily go through the website and see the modalities for how to apply. This is the government URL ID for single window, which is sso.rajasthan.gov.in. There are many other features and apps available over there for welfare of the citizens, and one of them is this film shooting facilitation single window. Of course, no fee and security deposit is charged by the department for giving the permissions. This is the flow chart, per chart for how to apply at SSO portal. First, you have to log in and do a registration formality, and then you can submit your documents and a synopsis of the project, and then you will get the clearances in phased manner. So this is it. As I told you, I mean, this platform is for making connections with people from the film fraternity and to work together. So I would request you all to kindly share this information with whosoever is, I mean, you think is planning to make a film or a documentary or TV commercial. And you can persuade them to contact us. We are here, I mean, and if you want to meet us one-to-one, we are still, I mean, till tomorrow morning we are here. So we would welcome anyone who wishes to know more about these things. And as I told you earlier, that there is this perception, or you can say myth, about Rajasthan, that it is very dry. So just to dispel this notion of Rajasthan being a dry state, I would like to show you an AV. AV, please.
Rajasthan, experience the unexpected.
तो पानी की खोज में अब भटकने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, कहीं दूर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। राजस्थान में बहुत सुंदर लेक्स, वाटरफॉल्स, वाटर बॉडीज़ हैं। सो आप सब लोग आपकी फिल्म की स्क्रिप्ट के हिसाब से, और अगर स्क्रिप्ट में नहीं है तो भी वाटर बॉडीज़ का कोई नीड हो तो वो डाल दीजिए। इतनी सुंदर जगह और कहीं नहीं मिलेगी। कुआं प्यासे के पास आ गया, एग्जैक्टली। सो आई थैंक यू ऑल, आई एम सो पेशेंसली हियर फ्रॉम अस आफ्टर सच ए डिलीशियस लंच। और हमारे बीच में हमारे डायस पे रुकई वेंकटेश जी भी जुड़ गए। सो सर, वेलकम यू एंड थैंक यू फॉर स्पेयरिंग टाइम फॉर दिस सेशन। थैंक यू ऑल। If you have any questions, probably we can take it later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tripathi ji. It was indeed a very insightful and also very attractive presentation. And even though we've seen so much of Rajasthan on screen over the years, there was still so much we saw that I was not even aware that it existed over there. Great presentation, sir. Right. So to get a practical insight of what it is to like shoot in Rajasthan and what are the attractions there, may I request Pravesh ji, who has shot extensively there, I think as many as 10 international, more than 10 international films and commercials, of your experience in shooting there, sir, in the state.
Firstly, I'd like to thank the Government of Rajasthan and the people here. It's always been amazing to shoot in Rajasthan because we've had this infrastructure. I think I've been shooting in Rajasthan past 22 years. My first movie there was Holy Smoke with Kate Winslet and Jane Campion, who's been twice on the Oscars. To work with her there. Thereafter, we've done Viceroy House and stuff like that. My only question to you, sir, is that, you know, when we get to Rajasthan, you've been very nice to say that the government is going to give us subsidy and stuff. But when we get to the palaces, which are you've shown all the beautiful palace, maybe Rambagh, maybe Umaid Bhawan, where we have no control on the budgets. You'll be shocked to hear that they are charging us something like 5 to 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs a day, which becomes extremely difficult for any production to pay that type of cost. So we'd like you to also, be a part of us, and when we get to Rajasthan, to help us negotiate these private palaces, which are extremely, the scripts needed. That's why people from around the world come there to shoot. So if you could just help us in that section, it will really be a great help. Otherwise, I think, like you mentioned, hotels, infrastructure, basic crew, everything, transport, everything, airports, Jaisalmer with the sand dunes is extremely very beautiful. Like over lunch, sir mentioned that he saw the Visa card commercial, which luckily I had done, and in the sand dune looks beautiful. We've done other world-class commercials also, like Heineken and Schweppes, which show and highlight Jaipur in a very big way.
Yes.
Thank you, Pravesh ji. सबसे पहले तो ये कि you have made such wonderful movies from Hollywood and from Europe also, I think, in Rajasthan. So thank you for that. We need people like you to support our cause, to promote Rajasthan as a film destination. And definitely the concern that you expressed just now about the charges of private hotels. So we can always work together. Private property, as you all know, I mean, their tariff and the rates are determined by the demand and supply, of course. But now that we are ready with this policy, and they would also like to see the benefits in the long term. So they would come forward and we will talk to them. Of course, we will sit together and we can discuss with them and we can come up with some solution so that, I mean, it is not exorbitant or whimsical. It should be within some reasonable limit. So definitely. Thank you
very much.
Rockline ji, even you've shot extensively in Rajasthan. I think what Bajrangi Bhaijan was shot over there. Any personal feedback, suggestions you would like to give?
Yeah. Firstly, I thank Rajasthan government for this, the package what you have come out. My experience, where we shot, first I shot a South movie, is a Kannada, around means to say 15 years before, and a serial 3 years before, 3-4 years before. And before pandemic, I planned to shoot a very big project in Kannada and South, of course. And one schedule was shot in Kerala for this movie. Movie name was Raja Veera Madakari Nayaka. So I came for a recce to Rajasthan. 15 days I was there in Rajasthan, visited all the places, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Udaipur, Mount Abu, Jaisalmer, Bikaner. So every places I visited, and I had a good team with me. One local manager was there, Alam Khan, something like that. So in this situation, I was planning to shoot this movie for 75 to 80 days in Rajasthan. April 10th I planned, March 23rd, 24th was the lockdown announced. So I couldn't make that project. Because it was a very big scale, because of this COVID and all, every shoot will be having around 400 to 500 people. So just I postponed that. So probably I think next year I'm planning that. So really, it is a wonderful place, no doubt at all. As sir, you rightly told, the same problem I faced there. Of course, government is too supportive, but the palaces are very, very expensive. So that part, if you can please support us, definitely these locations, I can say, this is a heaven on the earth. So definitely, movie makers will show interest if you can please support us in these aspects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Shifting tracks a bit, Chef Ranveer, I've seen, I'm an avid watcher of these travel channels, and a lot of the programming there actually revolves around culinary journeys and cuisine. You know, Anthony Bourdain's No Reservation, Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. So from a unique position as a celebrity chef and someone who understands that region, how can the government leverage food and content around food to promote itself?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. I'm sorry, everybody's just looking at Mr. Tripathi. I'll also look at him. He just seems to be on the listening side today. So I did go through the policy, sir, and I was going through it as well. And I just feel that, we are a different set. So I am also a producer. I also produce documentaries, sometimes on music and food, sometimes on fabric and food, which have a stronger cultural underlay as compared to showcasing architecture or showcasing, we're not in the big league there. But I personally believe that when we go and shoot there, or when we go through the policies, I think the government needs to understand the soft power that these documentaries and this cultural expression brings to the table, and the policymakers need to look at it slightly separately. Sometimes we are clubbed in as producers, as culture content producers with the big boys. And then, and then you feel, no, but I'm basically, this is not a song and dance in front of a building. I'm talking about this guy who plays bhapang in Ajmer, who's been doing it for 8 generations. It's fantastic for Rajasthan because it's your music that we're promoting. So, I think we were talking about Korea, how policymakers have strategically isolated the cultural push and treated the cultural documentaries slightly differently, created a window that allows these relatively smaller creators who push this soft power of Rajasthan culture and not sort of be clubbed with the big boys and then sort of get lost. That's the only request that I have. I think, as food people, as culture people, we try and create this soft power that people connect to beyond the architecture and the grandeur. And in times where we talk about culinary tourism, micro-tourism, people wanting to stay at villages, the connection to a place, is much stronger when you connect to its people through its culture. And my only 2 bits in the whole thing is, if these documentaries that we call them, and we sort of club them in the same thing as advertisements and films, wherein the purpose of the documentary is actually augmenting the soft power of culture, if they can be looked at with a little more love, for the lack of a better word, for us to, actually speak your voice, project your art, project your cuisine, project your music, and connect the rest of the world and the rest of India to you, beyond just the architecture, building and lakes and so on and so forth. That's the only 2 bits that I'd sort of have to put in the conversation.
Great point, very well made.
Yeah, so Ranveer ji, very valid concern. Of course, we cannot keep all sorts of movies or films in the same bracket and expect that, they would deliver, the policy would deliver. Of course, there are low budget activities and there are high budget activities. So we I have noted this concern of yours, and since this is the very beginning of this policy, so as the time goes by, definitely we would try to branch out the policies, modulate the policies in a way that we are focusing on low budget producers, the people who are really promoting culture through cuisine through these films. And we cannot equate, of course, the two genre. I mean, they are very different. So yes, this is a very valid point, and we will take care of this.
Thank you, sir. I now turn to someone who not only me personally, but I think the entire film fraternity considers as a true friend in our navigation with the government, Mr. Vikramjit Roy. Vikramjit, two questions for you. One is that a lot of things that people need to shoot in a state come under central government's authority, like I think the ASI, Forest Department, etc. So how can we use your good offices to navigate that portion? And secondly, since Rajasthan government has come out with such an attractive policy, what advice would you give them to leverage it internally as well as internationally?
First of all, I want to thank FICCI for having me on this panel, and Tripathi ji, that was a lovely presentation, and I think you're going to be the cat among the pigeons in terms of raising the competitive bar, and I think all the filmmakers who are here and your aggressive push. Rajasthan definitely has a brand equity of its own, right? And I'm sure that you will cash in on that. To come to your question, as far as the two key central agencies, one is the Archaeological Survey of India and the other is the Ministry of Railways. The Film Facilitation Office, its web portal, www.ffo.gov.in, is integrated online with the Archaeological Survey of India as well as with the railways. So in Rajasthan, if you wish to shoot in any archaeological survey property or any Indian railway property, or be it an airport, be it any other central agency property or a site, we may not, with whom we may not have integrated, you can always come into the Film Facilitation Office and we will get you your requisite permissions. Also, what we follow is a two-step process. So if a filmmaker wants to apply to an ASI property or an airport, we would then have a meeting with him, and if he or she is shooting in Rajasthan, we would involve the nodal officer, and accordingly we would lay out the permission process and ensure that the filmmaker gets it in time. So that's really not an issue. I think with this policy that has been launched, there are two distinctive global strategies that I see. One is, as the most popular chef here says about documentaries. So there are markets like IDFA, which is in Amsterdam, TIFF Docs, which is held in Toronto, Sheffield, which is held in the UK, and there's a Greek market, Greece. There's a market in Greece, but that's a very complicated name, so I don't want to err in mispronouncing anything. But these would be great if the government of Rajasthan were to certainly make its presence felt. I would start with the IDFA, so that such cultural-based documentaries, you have commissioners, commissioning agents who come from Al Jazeera, they can come from ZTV, they can come from Arte in France, they can come from Channel 4, Sky, BBC, etc., who would be interested in commissioning such things. So I think Rajasthan should showcase that aspect. In terms of the feature film presence, the OTT feature film, more the big ticket, the non-documentary sphere, I think the campaign should start from the Cannes Film Festival, build itself up to Toronto, and of course Busan, which is in the south of Korea. So that you have a global footprint, you have a great equity, you have a great brand equity. There have been 20 odd films that the Film Facilitation Office has facilitated since 2016, Beecham House, both the Exotic Marigolds, Warner Brothers Batman, etc. Some of it which we saw. So a global footprint is absolutely necessary to kind of cash in on this, I would say, marketing footprint, and to align with the central government's film facilitation office so that you work out a synergistic route map. That's my take.
Thank you so much, Vikram. So I believe we've pretty much covered it all, thanks to your sir's very comprehensive presentation. And I want to thank you once again, sir, for coming out with such an attractive policy and also taking us through it. And like the Producers Guild would be happy to help you and in any way possible. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will now request Mr. Tripathi to please present the traditional Lehariya stoles to all the experts seated on the dais, beginning with Mr. Rockline Venkatesh. Yes, exactly. So this is a gesture of the hospitality industry of Rajasthan. As you can see, the vibrant colors are reflected in these traditional Lehariya stoles. Could I request Sumita to please step up on stage? Please join us for a group picture. Joint Director, Madam Sumita. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rajasthan, the incredible state of India, is the partner state of FICCI Frames Fast Track 2022. That has added a colorful touch to the picture. Thank you. Thank you for that very cordial gesture. Remain seated, ladies and gentlemen. We are beginning the next session immediately, and this is on the making of the family man. The panelists are Mr. Raj Nidhi.